the gym teacher, chokes on a whistle she was blowing outward.
I choked on this thing. I have no idea how it was possible, but I'm choking on this. I'm choking. I don't know how. I don't know how this happened. Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Great, great. How are all our listeners doing?
They're doing pretty good, I think. Hopefully.
Oh, speaking for them.
Yes. I could just channel them right now.
Yeah, that's pretty bold.
I hope you're doing well, listeners.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know, though.
Welcome to another episode of A Fine Podcast with your hosts, Joseph,
And
Amanda. And we're going over season 1, episode 19, The Gym Teacher.
the gym teacher. Can you believe that we're already on episode 19?
Yeah, we're moving right along here. It's crazy.
Almost done with the first season.
Yeah, just around the corner.
It's just around the corner.
Yeah.
So this episode was pretty interesting. Fran learns that her old crazy gym teacher is actually Maggie's gym teacher now.
Yes. She'll face childhood demons, and so will Max.
That's right. This whole episode is about Fran facing her past, Max facing his past.
Yes, but different periods in their past.
Yes. High school and 20s.
Yes. But yeah, let's jump into it.
Yeah, so scene 1, Fran and Val, they just went shopping and they're coming back to the house. And Maggie's on the couch and she is not feeling well. And Niles is there taking care of her. And Maggie says, "Oh, well, it's just my time of month." And Fran knows something's up because she said, "You've had your time of month 4 times already this month. What gives?" So I guess that excuse doesn't work every single week of the month.
Yeah. Biology would disagree with that excuse.
You'd have an extreme medical problem if that were the case, maybe.
Yeah. You've probably got bigger problems than gym class at that point.
So this is where we discover Maggie is just desperate to get out of gym, and she says that her gym teacher just has it out for her. She hates her. She's not good at gym. And she just hates the subject.
Yes, the subject of gym.
The subject of gym.
Yeah, she just doesn't like physical activity. She's one of those girls who wants to just do the makeup and be popular and avoid the physical activity of gym. So
Well, I don't know. I feel like when I went to high school, gym was a pretty awkward subject to participate in. Everybody's judgmental in the locker room. And then, I don't know, some of the sports, maybe she's just not as coordinated for some of the sports. I can relate to that.
wow, that was not my experience at all. We love gym.
Yeah, because guys, maybe they have a different experience sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, mainly because we're goofing off and it's easy. I don't know. At least for me, it was not a problem. I mean, I had fun.
I do remember the only time I had gym was in 9th grade, and we liked to go into the locker room and straighten our hair and do our makeup and stuff. So I guess I'm one of those girls you're talking about, actually, because we like loved that period, and we did take our time, like changing and straightening our hair for like half the gym block. But our teacher also wasn't that strict or crazy, but I did love playing badminton. That was my favorite sport in gym. I was really good at that. But other times she didn't know what to do with us, and we were just walking around the track most of the time getting popsicles.
Wow. Our teacher, I remember in the wintertime, he would still make us go outside for gym.
Oh my gosh.
And
you wouldn't have like free days where you just sit on the bleachers and talk, or you'd play cards, or you'd walk around the track.
We didn't have free days.
Or you did your hair in the locker room.
Yeah, right. No, we just...
You like to straighten your hair sometimes, right?
No. I did that like once at high school.
What?
And then never again.
Oh, okay.
My hair's already naturally straight, so I didn't need to do that. But
Well, that's true.
I mean, most times we were inside, but there were a couple times where like he threw us outside in the winter, and we'd always complain.
What would you be doing outside?
I don't know, it'd be like track or something, or do flag football or something like that. But I mean, our gym attire didn't change. It was just shorts and a t-shirt. So it'd be like,
What? You wear sweatpants?
no, it'd be like 40, 50 degrees outside and shorts and a t-shirt. And we would complain to him that we'd be cold. But all he would tell us was just to huddle like a bunch of quails to keep warm.
That's how he resolved the cold issue.
We learned to buck up real quick.
So Fran says, okay, I understand how you feel, Maggie, because I hated gym too. And Fran says, maybe it's time you face your fears. And then Val talks about how Fran didn't face her fears and instead she wrote phony notes to get herself out of gym. So it's kind of like giving advice, but she didn't take it when she was Maggie's age.
Yeah, I mean, because Fran's she can relate to Maggie. She's kind of in the same.
But she's the adult now.
Right. But at that age, she was doing the same things that Maggie was doing, so she can understand from that point. And then she's trying to offer tips to, well, I'll give you some new ideas to bail gym class.
Fran says this is completely different because she's telling Maggie, face your fears, just go to gym. And she says her situation completely different because her gym teacher was just awful and you wouldn't understand. But little does she know.
Yes, dun dun dun.
It's the same teacher. So Maggie then says, my gym teacher hates me too. What are you talking about? Please, Fran, please help me get out of gym. And the thing that wins Fran over into changing her mind about Maggie facing her fears, Maggie says, they won't even let me wear makeup in gym. And Fran says, okay, I've had it. We're going to help you write some phony notes. And then that's where that whole thing starts.
Yeah, which is kind of strange. I mean, why is not wearing makeup in gym the final straw?
Fran loves makeup.
Yeah, but
how dare you insult Fran?
I mean,
I loved wearing makeup in gym too. I was obsessed with it.
Yeah, but once you just sweat and just
you still have to look good while you're playing your sports.
Huh. News to me.
You just touch up your makeup afterwards.
Wow.
So Fran says, how about we go with a good old hammer toe excuse? And Maggie says that's never going to work. And then Gracie suggests, why don't you go with severe depression and fear of death? Those could be winners.
Yes, the crazy psychological problems that Gracie has, and her solutions do not conduct any kind of great answer to these problems.
Could work.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little dark, but.
So Niles is listening to all of these conversations and he knows this is not going to end well. So he says he's just there to watch the big train wreck that's about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate Niles here. He's the voice of truth here and recognizing that this whole thing is just ridiculous. Piling up. Yeah, it's just going to be one thing after the other and you're going to have to build and build and build on this and it's going to blow up.
Yes. So Niles says, how about you write me a phony excuse to get myself out of work for Friday? Sarcastically.
Yeah, he's Fran. Like, give me a cool disease. One that I have to wear an eye patch.
Oh, yeah. That was a good request. So in this next scene, we're in Max's office and Niles is cleaning the windows and he's using this big window cleaner that makes a big screech up and down the windows. And Max says, can you stop that? I'm trying to work. And then Niles says, as opposed to what I am doing, a hobby?
Yeah.
Niles is just doing this for fun?
Yeah. That was quite the good remark. But I mean, it would only squeak like that if there's no
liquid.
Right. If there's no cleaner on the
So is he doing his work badly here?
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't. It's his first time doing Windows. I don't know.
That's weird.
I don't know why it's squeaking so
That's
bad.
A good point.
Yeah. I mean, squeegees need liquid or cleaner.
That's what I thought it was called, a squeegee.
Yeah, squeegee. but
Squeegees need liquid.
that's a lesson for Niles, apparently.
Max says that he got a call from Maggie's school today and he heard that she has a serious heart murmur because that's one of the phony excuses I guess they went with.
Yeah, pretty extreme one.
Pretty that maybe they took a page out of Gracie's book for that one.
Yeah, it's like a blend of
Her things.
Fran's and Gracie's.
Yes. So Fran comes in and then she pretends not to know what's going on. And then Cece comes in. And here's where we're introduced to Maxwell facing his past. Cece says, Alan Beck would be a great star for our show.
Yes, who is notoriously in Max's past because Max was a
assistant.
Yes, to the great Alan Beck. And
Alan Beck.
He kind of just bossed him around and told him what to do, and Max didn't really like him for that. So
he said he treated him like crap and he even lit him on fire in one instance. So I think it was a pretty bad internship program that Max had.
Yeah, that justifies Max's claims.
So they worked in the theater together and he was mean. But then Cece convinces Max to reconsider having him as the main actor because she says that if you put his name on a marquee, it will sell out our show for at least 6 months. So now he's on board.
Yeah. He's willing to move on for a nice little bump in cash.
It's pretty convincing.
Yeah.
So in this next scene, we see Fran in gym class with Maggie. And what tips does she give her for how to do anything but sports in your gym class?
Yeah, so she goes into Maggie explains with that it's a 45-minute class, and Fran starts breaking down some minutes of 20 minutes to get dressed, 15 minutes to volunteer to lug the equipment around, and then a couple minutes to lose your contact, your fake contact that doesn't exist, but you lost it, and look around for it. So that should leave you about 4 minutes left to actually participate in gym class. Anyone can do 4 minutes worth. So this is this whole sham Fran used to do apparently back in the day. She has boiled down into a science now. So
how to expand your time doing anything but the subject.
Right. Which I really don't understand it, but
you can't do it every single day in class.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Like your contact is popping out of your eye every single day.
Yeah, she just needs to go back for a proper fitting.
Obviously. So Fran then says her teacher's name was Miss Wickovich. And then Maggie's coach comes out and she calls her Coach Stone. But she got married. It's the same coach that Fran had, Miss Wickovich, but married into Miss Stone. So they didn't realize that this was the same gym teacher this whole time.
Yes. Which kind of ironically, I think the more shocking thing for Fran is rather than it actually being her teacher, that she's married. And it's more like a slap in the face to Fran that even she got married to someone and Fran hasn't found someone yet. So
yeah, and Fran says, how could you be married and not me?
Yeah.
And then the coach says, well, you're soft and you're raising soft children too. Look at you. I'm tough. I'm strong.
Yeah. She reminds me of my gym teacher.
Yeah. A female
Throw
version.
the kids out in the cold.
Female version.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who she got married to. So she is just, dead set on failing Maggie if she doesn't get any better. And she says, well, Maggie's midterms are coming up, and so far, from what I can see, she's going to get an F, and I'm going to love every second of her getting an F. Like, she gets a great thrill out of failing students. So,
yes, she's quite vicious.
And Fran says, don't worry, I'm going to coach Maggie. We're going to get it together, and we're going to pass this midterm. And the coach laughs hysterically. And then she goes up to Maggie and says, I'm going to torture you so bad you're going to wish for sweet death. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah. Well, and then I love as she leaves, there's two kids in the background doing push-ups and she steps on their backs.
Oh my
while they're doing
gosh.
push-ups.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
That's so terrible.
I was like, well, I guess I didn't have anything like that. That might be a little far.
Extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she gets a thrill out of hurting others, I guess.
Apparently actual physical violence.
Physical
as well.
violence, too. Your gym teacher threw you out in the cold and said, huddle like quails. She's stepping on people and saying, you're going to beg for sweet death.
Yeah.
Yikes. So, in this next scene, the one, the only Alan back, and everybody starts clapping for him. And then he starts smoking in Maxwell's face.
Yeah, he has a cigar, and clearly cigars and TV shows and stuff always signify power. So he's trying to show that he still has dominance over Max, and even though he's the director, he could still care less and still wants to do what he wants to do.
So that's absolutely true. He's trying to assert his dominance still to this day. And Alan doesn't immediately recognize Maxwell. And then Maxwell reminds him he was the assistant for him years ago. And then Alan says, well, great. You're my assistant. Why don't you go get me a coffee? And Maxwell's like, no. I'm like the head of everything here. And then Alan says, okay, well, with cream. Go get me coffee with cream. So he's still treating Maxwell the same way.
Yeah.
And then Alan meets Cece, the business associate. And did you hear what comment he made about Cece?
Yeah, she mentioned she's Max's business associate, and he's like, oh yeah, I got tons of those. And then he said, I'm free Thursday night. And she didn't really say anything, but
she said nothing. And then Alan meets Fran, and he immediately likes her. She introduces herself as the nanny, and he says a really weird, dirty joke after that, which was, there's a little boy inside him. And then he asks Fran if she would like to raise him. Terrible.
Right. Yeah. Well, let's move on.
What it was said.
Yes. It's been acknowledged. Let's.
I don't know how they got away with putting that on the TV.
Yeah, it was a little strange. I mean, this seems like it kind of came out of left field with the jokes that they've been putting in. But I don't know. I guess this is just to try to really build the character of this guy, that he's a big hotshot. So.
And like a sleazeball.
Yeah.
But Fran thinks he's charming after a comment like this. She's like, oh, yeah, I just love him. He's great. So I was like kind of confused, because if he would have said something like that to me, I would have been like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's a little I mean, you know, I rewatching it again, it jumped back kind of like to the whole Brock Storm thing where, you know, she loved him and then she found out and then she hated him. I thought they were going to kind of do the same thing here, but I don't know. Maybe they wanted to try to not totally just do like almost a repeat of that whole scenario. I don't know. But yeah, it was still kind of strange. They like stuck themselves in a corner to stick with this role, but for him. But anyway, nonetheless.
Yeah. It was strange. So
Yeah.
Max then goes up to Fran and asks how the meeting went at gym class. And she said she talked the teacher into giving Maggie a makeup test, and she's going to do the makeup midterm for the class, and all should be good. And then we end the scene with Alan saying that he doesn't like that his character is in a wheelchair. So then Max reminds him that he's playing a paraplegic. FDR.
Yes. Which was pretty funny because Alan apparently doesn't have much history knowledge, because he says, I don't care. Make me walk. He says, you think people are going to look at this actor and think he's in a wheelchair?
He even insists later that Max will write it in that FDR went through some sort of miracle and he leaps free out of his chair at the end of the play to make him look better.
Cured miraculously.
Just right, it's a miracle.
Yeah. That is very strange to try to rewrite some false history, but
Yeah, you can't really rewrite that.
but yeah, I thought this was pretty clever. Have him try to play that role and go against it.
In this next scene, we're back at the gym with Fran and Maggie, and this is where Fran and Maggie are about to practice for the midterm. And the coach is still there, but she's just about to leave. And she says she's leaving to be with her husband, ha ha ha, rubbing it in Fran's face that she's married. And then Fran and Maggie start to practice, and they start falling everywhere, getting hurt. So I don't know how much improvement Maggie made by learning from Fran at the gym.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was kind of strange because it's like she pumps her up. She, gets her all like this, gets her riled up to be excited for this, and they trip on one of the mats. And then the scene cuts, but then in the next one, they're all like banged and bruised up. But
Injured.
So I guess they were attempting to try to do stuff, and they just failed miserably at it. But
Yes.
I guess they at least tried is the main thing.
They at least tried.
So the teacher references Nadia and Olga to Fran and Maggie, which they were just historically two gymnasts that were kind of head to head against each other. And Nadia was much more of skill. Nadia's been claimed to kind of be the best gymnast of the all time.
Wow.
And then Simone Biles is the most recent competitor to kind of be her level. But anyway, that was a reference. So,
But they went head to head.
yeah, they went head. In 1976, Nadia won. Nadia beat Olga. Olga was Soviet's flagship gymnast.
Cool.
Yes.
Wow.
The more you know.
The more you know. So back at home, Niles is helping tend to Fran's injuries from gym. And then Maxwell comes in complaining about Alan, and Niles then offers Max a scotch and soda, a gin and tonic, or a martini. And Max just says yes.
It is all of them.
So I guess his first round comes out, and it looks like...
I mean, it looks like the scotch and soda based on the color because it's not clear.
Yes.
The others are clear. So, well, martini could be colored, but not like this color. Oh, it's like a light brown, so it looks like a scotch and soda. But
Yes. So Max starts drinking this and then talking about how he can't change the part of FDR. Getting better.
which I actually have to say too, I noticed in the cup it was very strange. It's like in the cup I guess they're trying to represent like the ice cube that you would normally put in the glass, but it almost looked like a pyramid was like in the cup, and that was like supposed to like represent I don't know, but at the tip of it like kind of looked sharp. Like it almost looked like you like poke your eye out drinking the glass or something. But anyway, I just
That's interesting.
thought the glass was quite weirdly shaped like in that regard.
I just remember it looking really fancy, but
Yeah,
wow.
that's the illusion they were trying to give until you really look at it.
Yeah. So then Fran and Max start bonding over the fact that they're facing demons from their past now. And Max says, you know what, Fran, you should just stand up to your old gym teacher. Once and for all, just stand up to her. And then Fran says, well, you know what? You should stand up to your old boss, your current actor, Alan, once and for all. And then Max helps Fran with her injuries from gym.
Yes.
And that was very nice of him.
Yeah, I think this was it's a subtle moment between them that kind of shows their relationship kind of growing from an intimate standpoint, the way he helps her move around and whatnot. So
He pours Epsom salt on her.
yes, I would say this is a Dapper Daddy's dating tobacco moment.
Wow.
Dapper Daddies dating tobaccos.
Salt and love.
Epsom salt, to be exact.
So in this next scene, we see Fran and Maggie where? At gym class again. And Fran gets to be there. She's present for Maggie's test, which I would think would put a lot of pressure on Maggie. And this is where we see Maggie going through and actually like doing her test. And it's a bunch of cutscenes of Maggie falling down all over the place. She's falling down on the gym mats. She's falling down on the rings. She looks like the clumsiest person on earth doing this test. Did the gym teacher not teach them how to properly hold on to any of the gym equipment? Or maybe she just scared everybody and didn't teach them proper form.
Yeah. Well, it might just be Maggie never paid attention to try to pick it up. I also wanted to mention that with like the whole montage where Maggie's just failing at everything. You know, they're playing the Rocky music, and I don't know, but the rendition they found of like, because obviously I don't know if they made it themselves or something, but the rendition they did was like a pretty cheesy version of it. I don't know, it looked like they made it on like their own synthesizer, some cheap synthesizer or something, but
it sounded it sounded a little warped. It was like,
yeah. Because I guess they were trying to maybe avoid the thing for the real one or something, but I don't know. I just noticed that that version was quite.
Yeah, but it's a knockoff, or it's a different version.
But maybe they're trying to make
for
fun of it. Yeah, I guess that's true. But maybe they're trying to play into making that one sound not as great as the original, since Maggie is
it could
failing
be on
at her
purpose.
own.
Yeah,
she doesn't
That's true.
deserve the proper one.
So the teacher says she stinks and she's about to give her an F. And Fran says, well, at least she tried. And then the coach blows the whistle while she's dying laughing at Maggie getting an F. And then the coach swallows the whistle and it gets caught in her throat. And she's choking.
This makes like no sense to me.
How did that whole whistle fall into the back of her throat?
I don't know. The physics of that to me was quite bizarre.
So she's choking and Fran does the Heimlich on her. And then the whistle pops out of her mouth and the coach says, wow, you saved my life. And she's shocked about it, but
She's
very
like,
thankful.
Yeah, but she was almost like quite upset. She's like, this woman saved my life.
Yeah, because she doesn't like Fran very much.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it was like, she's almost like disgusted that it was Fran to save her.
But thankful to be alive.
Yeah.
And Fran says whenever she was cutting gym class, she did read the Heimlich posters. So she knew how to do that. And
she paid attention to something.
She did. And it was something useful. And then Maggie comes over and she innocently asks, how did I do? And then Fran says, you got an A. And then she looks at the coach and she says, right. And then the coach agrees. But I thought this was a good finesse moment for Fran because she just asserted herself and said Maggie got an A.
Yeah, I would disagree with this, but
wow.
I think because Maggie did terrible, she deserves the F. I don't think just because she saved her life, that has nothing to do with Maggie's performance in gym class. She did terrible. She deserves an F.
Yeah, but does she deserve it, or does the teacher deserve to fail at being a teacher because she taught her no real skill and all she did was teach fear and how her students should be scared of her and not want to do gym class?
I don't know.
And she got a great thrill out of watching everyone fail when she could have been getting that thrill out of making them better. She should have offered to coach Maggie, not Fran.
I don't know. We need a couple other witnesses who attended this woman's class, because I'm sure there were people who did A. Yeah, other testimonies of who went through her curriculum.
After you watched her step on two people's backs that were doing push-ups?
Yeah.
And after you heard her say that you're going to be begging for sweet death once you're done with my exam?
Yeah.
And after you heard her say that she just lives for the thrill of failing Maggie?
I don't know. I still...
You think that's a good inspirational teacher? I can't wait to fail you. And I'm going to learn how to use the rings that way?
Yeah, because I'd be motivated to prove her wrong.
It's not the correct way to teach people. It's not supportive.
I don't know. All in all, Maggie did terrible. I thought she deserved an F. I don't agree with this. But nonetheless, at least Fran did assertive and was on Maggie's side to try to improve that. So I'll give it to Fran for that. So,
thank you.
Yes, but...
Fran finds finesse.
nonetheless, Maggie needs to still work on.
Maybe next year she'll have a gym teacher that is inspirational and cares about her students and doesn't want to fail him and wants to teach them. That'd be great.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, maybe she is a bad teacher, but nonetheless, Maggie could have learned.
Was there YouTube back in the day? How would she have learned how to do this?
There's books. There's a library. That's what they did before the internet.
She is uncoordinated, but that's no excuse. So in this next scene, Alan is in Maxwell's office and he's talking over all of his demands for the play. And Max says, you know what? I have a couple demands of my own, getting bold with him here. He says, let's start by me giving the orders and you conducting yourself in a professional manner. And Alan says, or... And then Maxwell lights up a cigar himself to show he's big and bad.
Well, yeah. So first, Alan lights another cigar first, like his normal way, with just a little butane lighter, and
then Maxwell torches his.
Well, yeah. So then Max pulls out an even longer cigar, and then has a mini blowtorch to to light this thing. So they're kind of having a dominance battle here, but and the personification of a, well, not personification, but in the figuration of a cigar.
Yes. So after Max torches his cigar, he says, or you're fired. And Alan says, you're just bluffing. You don't mean that. And he says, I am FDR. And then he walks out of Maxwell's office. But when he walks out, there's a sea of FDRs out in the living room.
Yeah, they're like all practicing to audition to take his role in case he gets fired or walks out. So
this is to show just how serious Maxwell is. Like, I could replace you with any of these 50 FDRs that I have in my living room that are currently learning the speech. And then you see them all and they're all dressed up like different stages of FDR in his life, which is really funny.
Yeah. Well, and then also Fran walks in and, says, I've got Anthony Hopkins on the line too, who wants to play FDR, which, he's a pretty popular Welsh actor that is in a lot of movies. You kind of recognize it when you see him. But
then Alan goes back and he says, well, okay, I guess some of my demands are negotiable. Okay, maybe all of them, but I'm keeping this. And then he keeps one of Maxwell's figurines. But he'll listen to Maxwell for everything else now. So the whole plan worked.
Yeah, so Max is able to keep his power as the director and keep his actors in check. And
then when Alan leaves, he says to all the FDRs, okay, you can go over to CC and collect your checks now.
Yeah, which this is the fact he paid all these people to do this is quite interesting. I mean, I'd almost compare, like, if he was wanting a bonus or something, what would be the cost of hiring all those people versus the bonus? Well, I guess it'd probably still be cheap.
I wonder how much he paid.
Yeah.
50 FDRs.
Yeah. I mean, for 10 minutes of work to just show up.
To just, act like FDR for 10 minutes.
Yeah. But I also liked how some of them, too, were trying to quote,
oh, yeah.
Quote, famous, quotes by him. They were practicing, this day will live in infamy. And the only thing we have is to fear is fear itself.
It's pretty good.
Anyway. So.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So in this very last scene, we see Fran and her gym coach together. And they're acting kind of friendly. And they're going through Fran's old yearbook. And they're talking about Fran's ex-boyfriend, Danny Imperiali.
Yeah, I thought this was kind of interesting how they make a loop back to him with looking through the yearbook, and then she was like, oh yeah, he's my ex, and then she called him out, or the teacher called out and said, like, yeah, you should have leave him, don't ever go back to him, he's not right for you. So it's like even the teacher knew. The
teacher turns nice all of a sudden.
Yeah, but she totally knew that he was not right for Fran.
Yes,
I thought that was kind of,
she knew.
Yeah, kind of a nice spot on her though.
Finally, something nice about her. Great.
Yeah. Well, she was soft and giving the A, so.
Yeah. So
But that's it. That's the
it.
episode of the episode. And then the credits roll out.
So I thought it was interesting that Niles and Cece didn't say a word to each other in this episode.
Yeah, we've had a couple back to back where they were just, Niles was mainly laying them down, but we had a little bit from Cece, but they had a lot now. This episode just went total
Nothing.
zilch.
And they were both in the episode.
Yeah, but they never ran into each other.
Never talked.
Yeah.
So we have no burns to report.
Yeah. I don't think we've had one yet, though, where they've just even see each other and a burn not happen.
I know.
That would be interesting to see.
That's true. I wonder if that happens.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out as we move along in the episodes to come.
Yes, especially as we finish out season 1. So for right now, I think we're ready for our recap.
Yes, it's time for recap.
Let's put this all together. These moments are forever.
Maggie, she wants out of gym.
I have 4 periods a month. I can't make it.
It's a lot of blood. Fran helps Maggie make excuses because she hated gym too.
You got to get the right excuses, like hammer toe.
Hammer toes. Fran then visits Maggie's gym class and realizes that it's the same gym teacher she had.
She's still alive?
And teaching.
She's not retired?
She's not retired.
Or dead?
Wow. It wasn't that long since Fran was in high school, was it? We discover the gym teacher hates both Fran and Maggie. She hates them.
She
both
hates them.
as Wickovich and Stone. Fran helps Maggie with her midterm.
Yes, as they stumble onto the mats and become banged and bruised.
Fran uses Epsom salt.
Those healing remedies of Epsom salt.
She had like a foot bath.
Yeah. My mother used those a lot.
Wow.
The Epsom salt.
In a foot bath?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. That Epsom salt is quite prominent in my childhood.
Sounds soothing.
Yeah.
Max hires an actor that he has some bad history with.
I hate this guy. But I'm going to hire him because I need the money.
The actor is demanding.
I'm going to smoke some cigars in your face and blow the smoke for my dominance.
The actor wants FDR to not be in a wheelchair.
It's a miracle. My polio has been reversed and I can now walk.
Finally, Fran and Max face their people head on.
They squared up and took the victory.
Maggie gets an A in gym class after falling all over the place.
Yes. The fake A. Fake A.
Fake A. The gym teacher chokes on a whistle she was blowing outward.
I choked on this thing. I have no idea how it was possible, but I'm choking on this. I'm choking. I don't know how. I don't know how this happened. I'm so stunned physically at how this occurred.
The whistle she's been blowing
Yes.
for years.
Yeah. 60 years later, it finally got to me.
60. She's
I don't know,
like
maybe like 40
100
years
old.
later.
Max gets Alan to stop being so demanding by hiring 50 FDR actors.
And a massive blowtorch to light his cigar.
Yes. And Fran and the gym teacher reminisce over past yearbook.
Good old Danny boy.
And
Trouble.
Danny boy was trouble.
Yeah, she knew long ago.
The end.
Yes, that is final conclusion of our episode.
Wow.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed it. We hope that you have faced any past experiences that you've had, that you've moved on and faced them head on and have become victorious on the other side.
That's right. Don't let your past hold you back. Be strong and confident, and we will see you next time for our next episode.
Yes, we'll see you next time. In the words of Winston Churchill, V for victory. We'll see you next time. Ciao.
Bye.